'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we will not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Look up, thank you. I recommend that you look up, I believe his name is Luca Stragnoli. If you just look up Vivaldi fingerstyle guitar, then you'll find that video and others. He's phenomenal, and I was really happy about that discovery this weekend, and I'm going to figure out how we can send him maybe a little compensation for the use of that. Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, to all of you brave souls here who came out in the cold, and to all of you who stayed at home to stay warm. We love you just the same, and we're happy that all of you are here. Whatever your age, ability, origin, gender identity, race, orientation, or background, if you want to worship with us, you are welcome. As Unitarian Universalists, we use the word worship going back to its roots in Old English, meaning to contemplate matters of worth. We're a theologically diverse community, and so our matters of worth are many and varied, and we like it that way. And we come together in celebration of that which is greater, and to figure out what we can do in this lifetime to make the world a better place. We have found that diversity of belief and opinion add depth to our experience as a community, and that we need not think alike to love alike, which one of our very early Unitarian forebears, Francis David, said. We're united, therefore, not by creed, but by a covenant to support each other on the spiritual journey and work together for a better world. If you're visiting for the first time today, we ask that you would sign the guest book and indicate if you would like to be put on our email list. Our minister is the Reverend Barbara Jarrell, and she is pursuing her other profession as a singer-songwriter this weekend. She has gigs in Arkansas and Kansas. So we wish her safe travels and break a leg, Barbara. She will actually be back in the pulpit for our Christmas Eve service on the 24th at 6:30 p.m. It's a candlelight service. It's one of our most beloved of the year. It's one of our most traditional of the year. We sing all the carols with the original words. We don't look ahead to see if we agree. It's truly a celebration of Christmas. And next week we will have our what we call our winter holiday service, where we celebrate Christmas and also Hanukkah and Yule. I believe our board person of the day, James Peck, has a few announcements.
Good morning. Welcome to All Souls. Today after church we have a vegan potluck, and people are sharing people online, social media videos of people that have given them inspiration for recipes. And I believe there is a $50 gift card drawing, so you might want to stay afterwards for that, for a chance to win and to enjoy some really good food and recipes. Our pledge drive is underway. There is links in the weekly email. There's a QR code, and I believe there's even paper forms for people that are not technologically wanting to do it that way. We have our mitten tree down here for Maggie Lee. So if you bring mittens, or looks like there's blankets and coats, those will go to the Highland Center, where they'll be given out to people in need. We have our poinsettias that will be here for Christmas Eve. There is a link, I know, in the email. If you'd like to purchase one of those, they'll be here for the service, and then you can take those home after our Christmas Eve service. Our volunteer of the month is Steve Nixick. Yeah. Steve has been a real pillar of the church, and has been there to help at events, and he's been on the board, and he's currently the vice president of the board. So we really appreciate all the service that he's shown here. And where our giveaway, the plate for this month is North Louisiana Interfaith, and it's a conglomeration of churches. And is there other groups besides churches, or
Labor Union,
yeah?
Civic organization.
but it's a way to create power and a voice from the community to politicians and to lead to change. It's about organizing and getting together for things that you see around even your local community that need attention. They have done a lot of different things over the years. They got the city of Shreveport to modify the bus schedule for people that work the late evening shifts because there was not enough buses running, and they successfully got the bus schedule increase where people could get around and go to work. That's just one example. I know they've done some things with different street issues around town and gotten those addressed and fixed. They have the Community Lighthouse Project, where when the power goes out and there's nowhere for people to charge their devices that they critically need, it provides a place with warmth and for charging during those long blackouts. If we have an ice storm and the power's out, or the really bad windstorm we had where people were without power for several days. So you can give anything that comes into the baskets in the back that's not earmarked. If you give online, just note that it is give away the plate, or if you are doing a paper check, you can write that in your memo line. I think that's all for today.
And I did promise a paper form for the poinsettias, which does not exist yet. So I apologize for that. If you want to use one of the contribution envelopes and just like put your dedication on the outside of that and put that in the collection basket, we'll get that. Or just tell me, just write it down on a piece of paper. That'll work too. But we'll try to have some paper forms for next week. I do want to thank, and you'll hear more from them later, but I do want to thank our three guest speakers this morning, Susan Yellott, Susan Bettinger, and Eric First. So we have the three Susans, and Eric and the Susans this morning. But I'm grateful to them. I asked them if they would come and do a little Mount Rushmore service. They're current and two former board presidents that will be speaking to you a little bit later. So we appreciate that. We'll enter now the spirit of worship. We added something to the service this morning. This has been planned as a service of celebration and a service of celebrating, supporting the church. And as we talked about this morning in adult religious education, as we looked at the Psalms, sometimes we grieve and we praise on the same day, and sometimes at the same time. We've learned this morning of a shooting in Australia at what was to be a Hanukkah celebration. And so we've added a song, Shalom Chavarim, which means peace, friends. And we'd like to sing that with you. Bob, were you going to come and help me lead that, or? Screen.
Well, they've come. They're coming. There you go.
Thank you. So the words are Shalom Havarim, Shalom Havarim, Shalom, Shalom, and then Lahit Ra'ut. And I hope my pronunciation is all right. Lahit Ra'ut, Shalom, Shalom. It means peace, friends, and it can also mean farewell, friends. Shalom is one of those words. You ready?
This is in a key that works for me, but I don't know if it'll work for everybody.
We'll try it.
Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom. Lehitraot, Lehitraot, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom Haverim, Shalom Haverim, Shalom, Shalom. Lehitraot, Lehitraot, Shalom, Shalom.
I don't think we'll do a round today. We're called to worship this morning with the words from Leslie Takahashi, the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. To worship means to consider that which has worth. Today, we consider with gratitude the many gifts of this community, the opportunity to be affirmed in who we are and to offer that affirmation to others, the chance to stand up together to help remake the world in the ideal of justice, the freedom to choose one's own path to truth and to learn from the travelogues of others, the space to expand one's own spirit and to reconnect after busy or humdrum weeks with the sustaining truths of one's life, regular reminders that we must see our world through the lens of love, and the aspiration to consider all life as precious, for if all of it is made of stardust, how could it not be wondrous? So this morning, let's welcome all of these gifts with gratitude, for they have been paid for with many currencies. The blood of the martyrs who died so that we can be free in our religion. The sweat of those who persisted in justice's name against hostility and adversity. The tears of those who struggled to build better lives for those in this life. The questions of our children as they understand the world anew and offer their understanding as a fresh lens. The laughter and joy of those giddy with the embrace of community. The dollars and cents of those who gave what they could and then stretched a little more. The infinite small acts of service that make the parts greater than the whole, done by those who knew themselves in sympathy with our purposes. And one of those acts is the extra decoration that has appeared this morning, and we don't know. Susan Yellott and I both thought that the other was responsible, so whoever did that, we thank you. So today we consider with gratitude and humility what it means to pay forward what has been paid forward for us. And now with all of this, let us enter into worship with gladness in our hearts. And someone willing to help me with the chalice lighting this morning? Thank you, Phoebe. Thank you, Jackson.
We light this chalice
To celebrate
Unitarian Universalism.
This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. Oh, our candle isn't lit. Hang on. And let's not set it on fire. Okay, this is the dead one. This shouldn't be up here anymore. There. Sorry about that. Thank you. The spark of love resides in us all. We're free to act from it or not. If we choose love, how will love shape what we do? If we choose love, how will it improve our actions? If we choose love, how will I treat those around me? If I choose love, will I find it when life gets hard? If I choose love, will you also choose love? Love begets love, and it is love that lights our chalice. Would you rise in body or spirit and join me in the unison affirmation? And the words will be on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. And Bob is going to lead us in this little light of mine, and he is going to do a special bridge between the verses. So we will pause and listen for that. Do you need a stand? I can hold oh, there's a stand. I'm also happy to hold the music. Oh, I see one right here too. Oh, there's one right here.
Lost my
I know.
strap.
Thank you so much, Bob. This is the third Sunday of Advent. And as we've been talking about from week to week, this is the time on the Christian calendar when we are waiting. It's a time of waiting for the birth of the baby Jesus. And as Unitarian Universalists, the story has meaning for us, not only as something that's part of a faith tradition out of which our own faith grew, but also it's a chance for us to think about a rebirth of love and a rebirth, a renewal of our own spirits in the holiday season, waiting in a time of darkness for the light to return. And also this morning we light again the red candle for Gaza, and especially for the children and families who are suffering with the horrible flooding there. And I know that our local Unitarian Universalists for Justice in the Middle East that raised money recently for Students for Justice in Palestine, they have sent some of those funds already to Gaza. But I want to ask you, can you think of a time in your own life where you gave and it felt good to do that? And I'm asking the kids first, but I'm asking everybody. So I'm not putting anybody on the spot. And it doesn't have to be something that you gave as a gift. It could be a service that you performed. Kind of like hanging out in the kids' classroom every Sunday morning. That is a wonderful service, and it feels kind of good, huh? Oh, it feels great. What? Feeding the homeless. Feeding the homeless, yeah. Yeah, if you ever want to go, I think Mr. Taha, who's here somewhere today, but I think he and a friend of his do that on a lot of Saturday mornings, if you ever want to go along. And sometimes Miss Susan Yellott goes along too. You pick up trash around your neighborhood? That is a gift to your neighbors. That creates beauty in your neighborhood, doesn't it? That's wonderful. And that feels pretty good? Yeah.
It feels so wonderful to reunite an immigrant with their family. It just makes the day a good day.
Susan said it feels really good to reunite an immigrant with their family, and that is the work that she does. And if you know, a lot of times you're sending them off on planes or buses to join their family who are here in this country, but sometimes we've gotten to see those reunions, and that is pretty wonderful. And that feels really good.
Rescuing an animal that needs help. Yes.
Rescuing an animal that needs help, absolutely.
Playing music for the residents at Azalea Estates.
Yes, playing music for the residents of Azalea. And I understand our minister's mother is a big fan of yours, that she looks forward to you. Yes, yes. Yeah, Steve.
Taking the time to listen to somebody.
Taking the time to listen to somebody. That is a gift. That is a real gift to give to someone else. And it does feel good. These are all really good. So the candle, the Advent candle for this part of the season is joy. And that's what you feel a lot of times when you have an opportunity to do something or give something to someone else. The joy of giving. Thank you, everybody, for helping tell the story today. It's your story. And we will send the children and youth to their class where Mr. Kevin can have some more fun. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. If you'll join me in the spirit of meditation, these are the words of Craig Rowland from a piece called I Breathe. And before we begin, just go ahead, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, let the pew hold you up. Let your shoulders relax down from your ears. And let's take one more good deep breath. And then again, as you let it out, probably relax your shoulders just a little bit more. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. May each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. As we enter the silence, please know that when the moment of silence is over and the music begins, you're welcome to come and light a candle for a joy or a concern that may be on your heart. As James mentioned earlier, our pledge drive is underway. Our church is supported by its members and friends. And I think, a lot of people say a budget is a theological document, and we welcome your talent and your time, of course. And so, I really am preaching somewhat literally to the choir, but also to the choir here as far as giving to the church of your time and talent, and we appreciate it. And the treasure part of it, whatever you may be able to do, and that is up to you and your budget, but it's a way of having a sense of ownership. You have a complete sense of ownership if you don't say that one thing can substitute for another. And some people can give more in one regard or another, and some less, and somehow it balances out. But anyway, I invited these three people. I have a really great job. I get to work for y'all. And the lay leadership of this church has just been so excellent over the years. And a lot of, these three people that are about to speak to you are a part of that. Claudia Harris is a part of that. She spoke a few weeks back, and always appreciate what she has to say. These are excellent people doing amazing work for you. Even our current board president and also our two former ones are still so active. And so I am going to be quiet now and bring up Susan Yellott to begin, and I'll ask other Susan and Eric just to follow on after. Thank you. And yay.
So the crew with Sue is in the house. I think Eric's middle name is Sue. It might not be a good thing. I think Susan said a few things I was going to say, but let me just talk for a few minutes. It'll probably be said 3 times. Every year at this time, congregations all around find themselves wrapping up one year and planning for the next. We ask ourselves, was this year joyful and fulfilling? Did we grow? Were our goals met? What can we do better next year? What are our needs? Where do we go from here? Along with those thoughts, we evaluate how each of us can make a positive impact in this church family. And I say family because this is pretty much our family. Also, Unitarian Universalist Church is a small but very vibrant congregation that I feel is the best church in Shreveport, y'all. It provides sanctuary for many folks searching for a safe, welcoming place in Northwest Louisiana where they can grow in their spirituality. There's no other place like us in this area, or at least I haven't found anywhere, and I've been in Shreveport since 1977. And because of this, we strive to continue this unique community. It's important for all of us to consider what our contribution to this experiment is. When I say contribution, of course, most of us, the first thing we think about is money, funding. And yes, that is important. We have lots of expenses, this building, the utilities, insurance, our programming expenses, supplies, outreach, and of course, our wonderful, wonderful staff members. We have to, pay them. They have needs like food. They work so hard. So all of this is important, and it costs money. It cannot run on air pudding. But it's not about the money, all of it. Part of our covenant with one another is to contribute whatever each of us can give in time, talent, and treasure to help our community, help each other to grow spiritually. And then as we grow as a church community, we can reach out to our community and have collective impact in the broader community.
more inclusively and committed to our values of equity and compassion. So we give our time. Spending our time with church members is so very important. Visiting the sick and those in distress, giving someone a ride, taking the time to mail a thinking of you card or a get well card, spending time at game night or at other church events, serving on a committee, helping with building and grounds, at the Highland Blessing Dinner. We always shouldn't be in such a hurry that at 12:15 we're out of here. We should spend more time than just 1 hour on Sundays. It's been said, where our time goes, our hearts will also be. So that's time. Talents, we share our talents. There's a song called All God's Critters Have a Place in the Choir. Well, maybe I don't have an actual place in the choir, per se, but I know that I probably have some gifts, as do all of us. Some of us can decorate, some are good speakers, some are good listeners. Like Steve said, sometimes people just need somebody to talk to, and you could be the one to really, you could save someone if you just talk to them. Some people are really good cooks. We have wonderful vegan meals here, which you're going to enjoy afterwards. We have artists, musicians, teachers. Some people are really good with technology. I have to give my granddaughter my phone to get her to help me with technology. I don't have that gift. So all of us have gifts and that we share with each other. And finally, we share our treasures. And that's not just your annual pledge that we use to work with the budget. And we kind of need to know ahead of time, you know, what we're going to be able to do, so it's good to make a pledge. But any other monies donated for special events or causes or give away the plate or all through the year, it's also goods that you donate. You might, you know, give to the giving tree here, or like things that we need at the church. Every little bit helps. So to sum it all up, we have been gifted some measure of time, talent, and treasures. Some of us may be more financially able to provide monetary gifts to the church. Others have time and talents that are so very, very valuable as well. And we work together to make this a welcoming place, a safe home for our church family, and we're going to continue to do that no matter where we are as a building. A building is not a church. We're the church, and we are taking care of each other. And that's what I had to say.
I'm Susan Bettinger. I have been a member of this church for 30 plus years, and I, like everybody else, I have painted walls and washed windows and vacuumed the floor and served on the board, as everyone has or will in time. And I had a lot of things that I was going to say, but Susan Yellott kind of covered it all about why we need to support this church. And I'm going to speak very, very briefly, because she kind of blew me out of the water, about why I'm here. I like to travel, and what I particularly like to do is visit places that inspire feeling in me, and what I describe as holy. And holy is not the massive churches in Italy and the wonderful, beautiful things that are there to see all over the planet. I like to do that. But what I like particularly to do is be in places where people have met the needs of their fellows, people who have worked for the common good. And then that makes me think about what my particular values are. Inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and the others of our principles. And the reason that this particular church is important to me is not because it tells me how to get to heaven. I'm not interested in that. What it tells me is that I am responsible for what happens in my life and what happens on this planet. And that is something that I think about often, individual responsibility. Reverend Barbara talks about it often, and it always is important to me what she has to say. I'm aware that Unitarian Universalists show up. We have in this congregation people who have been in the Peace Corps. We have people who 10 or however many years ago it was in Gina that all that foolishness happened between those adolescents, and justice seemed to fly out the window. We went to support Gina. Louisiana, there were more people there that day than lived there. And the white ones were the Unitarian Universalists. The civil rights struggle, James Reeb, was that the name, Susan, died, Unitarian Universalist. The Sharps, that couple who went to Europe to help the Jewish people get out of Germany. Unitarians, they show up. People here are active in the League of Women Voters, and as Susan was saying, interfaith, things that matter in the community. I work in when I was working for money, I was a clinical social worker, so I was involved with people and people problems. I work now not for money, but for animals, and am aware of how important it is that we take care of the creatures on the planet, and respect for the interdependent web. My shared values are the values that I hold dear are the values of this church. That's all.
I hold the distinction of being the tallest board president we've ever had. So it's 2025, and when Susan asked me to do this, I did the obvious thing you do in 2025, which is go to ChatGPT. And what ChatGPT told me was, I give my time, treasure, and talent to All Souls because this church has been a voice for justice, compassion, and radical welcome in Shreveport for decades. My gifts sustain a unique spiritual home, one that nurtures individuals, supports families, uplifts our community, and ensures future generations will have a place where acceptance and love guide our shared lives. And I read that and I thought, that sounds like something our former President Bennett Upton would say. And then I thought, is Bennett Upton ChatGPT? An epiphany. I mean, no wonder ChatGPT knows me so well. It's been Bennett all this time. So I first came to All Souls in 2006. I was going through a divorce, and I wanted a place where my son would get not the usual Shreveport-style Christianity, but a more broad-based religion, one that reflects my values more than other churches here. And when I was a kid, there was a friend of mine who I thought was the most well-adjusted person that I knew, and he happened to be a Unitarian, and so I thought, well, okay, we'll try the Unitarian church because it will work for him. Maybe it'll work for Sam. And so the first day that I came here, I'm sitting in the pew and I'm looking out the window, and I see this line of kids going across the window, and turned out they were on a scavenger hunt. And afterwards, Sam came up to me and he had these googly glasses, and he was really excited. He said, Dad, you have to see this nature trail. And I thought it was going to be this little trail out front. Takes me down, it's like a mile down the hill, and then a mile over and a mile back up to the... Anyway, after about 45 minutes, we finally made it up. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little, but... and so he was really excited about it. And so we kept coming. And I thought, I was coming for him, but it turned out actually I was also coming for me. And I've gotten a lot of unexpected lessons here. So early on, Pam and Rick Carlisle organized a special service. They brought in a minister, and his theme was forgiveness. And what he said was that forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is really for you, so that you can let go of things. And at the time going through a divorce, that really meant a lot to me and really hit home. I remember Barbara telling a story about a father who told his son that every time he gets hangry, so his son had anger problems, he told his son every time he gets angry he needs to pound a nail into a board. And I used that story on Sam several times. And I'm not going to tell you the story, because if you have heard it, you know it, and if you haven't heard it, then you have to just keep coming back until Barbara tells it again. When I was board president, we decided that we wanted to make our bathrooms non-gender. And so we decided, okay, well, one would be blue, one would be pink, and then we went through this huge discussion about, okay, what exactly are we going to put on the signs? And there was a lot of back and forth until we finally came out with what's now on the signs now. And I didn't think it was a big deal. But what I found out when the board passed this decision and we changed the signs, what I found out is that some of the people in the congregation did think it was a big deal and weren't happy with it. And I witnessed at least one conversation between one of those people and probably the main opponent of the passage of the signs, and one of our transgender members. And I think they probably talked for a good 45 minutes or an hour, and at the end they actually came to an understanding. They actually saw each other's side, and so I realize this is a good place for people to actually, with differing views, to come together, and that you don't have to think alike. And then probably one of the biggest unexpected lessons I got was a message that Susan had given. So she built a sermon. She read this book, excuse me, she read this book about this woman who was face blind. And so she built a sermon around it, and she took the order of service. In the order of service, she took 6 of the members of the congregation, and she took just their faces and put them on the order of service. And then, then she started talking about this book, and she said, there's a test you can take, and I gave it to a number of people around here, and don't worry, nobody in this congregation is face blind. And at that point, I'm looking down at the order of service, and I'm thinking, I don't recognize anybody on this order of service. And Nadia looks down, he says, sure you do, that's the minister's son. And I said, what? That's Noah? And I realized 2 things at that point. Number 1, Susan is a liar. Oh, and number 2, I'm face blind. And really that put a lot of things that had happened in my life, that put a lot of things that helped me understand, okay, this is why that happened. This is why that person kept saying hello to me on the street. I didn't know who it was. They'd grown a beard. Okay, this has nothing to do with time, talent, or treasure, but I have a pet peeve. So we have the American Disability Act, and because of that, we've built ramps going down to crosswalks at streets, and we have the lights at crosswalks will talk to you so that if you're blind, you can use the crosswalks. And when are they going to get around to requiring everybody to wear name tags all the time so that I can at least know who I'm talking to? Sorry, that's just pet peeve of mine. And the other thing about All Souls is I've gotten to know people that I normally wouldn't get to know. And so shameless plug, Building and Grounds is a good way to do that. You meet a lot of people at Building and Grounds, meet people at game night, meet people at potlucks, for example, at lunch. Bob likes to organize lunches, meet a lot of people there. So it's a good way to get me out of my normal group of people that I would associate with and meet other types of people. And then I also like the idea of All Souls, as Roy Zimmerman says, I like the idea of All Souls being a blue dot in a sea of red. That if you go to any protest, you always see a lot of All Souls people, and that's always nice. So to be honest, usually about this time of the year, I start thinking, do I really want to commit for another year? I mean, it's a lot of work going out to Building and Grounds, and then I come to Building and Grounds, and then I clean up the remnants of the treepocalypse with Steve, and I look out at my favorite tree in the parking lot, and it's turned gold, and it's just shimmering in the light with gold, and I think, okay, one more year, and I go and I make some vegan pecans, and I fill out my pledge form, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. You all did a wonderful job, and I appreciate the message. I hope I didn't really say nobody is face blind. And as for the story, as we always say, repetition is the key to faith formation. So stick around. You'll undoubtedly hear that story again. Our closing hymn is The Fire of Commitment. And I'll ask whatever choir members I can get to come up and help lead it. It is 1028 in the teal hymnal, if you need the hymnal. Otherwise, the words will be on the screen.
Thanks, James. It's lonely up here without you. From the light, days remembered, beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within,
then our promise finds fulfillment and the future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
You should clap for yourselves. That's good. As we extinguish this chalice flame, may the warmth of its light remain with us, guiding our steps and our hearts. Let us carry forward the strength of this community, the courage to speak truth, and the hope that transformation is possible. In each breath we take, may we remember that the work of love, justice, and healing is ours to continue, both here and beyond these walls. Again, we thank our guest speakers, our little All Souls Mount Rushmore, so much. Thank you all for this. Go in peace with the light of this gathering to illuminate your way. Except go in peace to the social hall and have some food with us. Thank you.
Way she gives is like the earth. She gives like the sky, and I may never understand why some people can such a simple love. But I've heard the butterfly wings stir up cyclones, and my actions settle on stars. So gives shelter like a tree, and see how living on the rim sheet touches every one of them with such a simple love. I've heard the butterfly wings stir up cyclones, and my actions settle on the stars. Still, you mothers of mercy, focus that force and bring life into bloom where you are. Oh, how does your river flow? How does your garden grow? Too late to learn at your feet. So I'll have to wade into the wake of the master's retreat. Once there was a way to get back home. I used to know the way to get back home. Isn't it here somehow? Isn't love clear somehow? Strength of the mountains, depth of the wind, conscience that covers the world, curled like a finger that draws you closer to a life that still haunts you. All that remains is such a simple love. All that sustains is such a simple love, but